back. Act 2 podcast, episode 18.
18.
Act 2
8.
podcast, episode 18.
4, 1, 8.
Like hearing impaired people.
8.
18. Let that sink in for a little bit. 18.
Proud of you.
You did it 18 times. That's proud of that. So 18, episode 18. Thank y'all, because we wouldn't be able to, well, we would be able to do it, but we enjoy y'all watching and looking and checking us out and participating and engaging. So we appreciate that. So thank you for the questions, the likes, the comments, the shares, all that good stuff that's wrapped up into the Act 2 podcast. We appreciate all that.
All of the engagement.
All of the engagement, as she said. But we appreciate that. But it's your boy Walt back, episode 18, Act 2, and
Your girl Tosh.
and
Your girl Tosh.
and
The co-hostess with the mostest. I was to say we're gonna try for a third time.
But yeah, we back. So how y'all be? We be good.
How are you?
I'm all right. I'm all right. I'm as all right as I can be. I'm here. I'm living. I'm still in love. I get to see you, so I smile.
Aren't you blessed?
Yeah. How y'all doing out there? We hope y'all good. Hope ain't nobody, down in the wind, down on the out, sick. If you are, get better. Our prayers go out to you. If you got some shit going on, some heavy shit going on, our prayers go out to you. Keep God first, and you'll get through it. Wows and woes this week. You want me to go first? You want to go first?
No, I'll let you go first. What was your wow of the week?
My wow of the week is... What happened this week? Something happened this week. I forget what the fuck happened, but something happened this week. I had a wow. I did have a wow. Must not have been that wow if I forgot.
Well, you woke up 7 more days.
Yeah, let's go with that. 7 more days of life, air, breathing. I had a fucking wow.
I didn't take it.
It's gonna come to me.
You shouldn't have smoked before you started.
I didn't smoke.
All right, what was your wow?
My wow?
Yeah.
My wow was my grandma. My grandma was on my mind the last couple days.
Nana.
Nana, she ain't doing so well. But she's 97, and 97-year-olds don't tend to do well. But that's what my woe is, just thinking about her life, memories of her. She ain't gone or nothing like that. Let me stop talking like she is. But she's just not doing too well. And being 97, it's just hard to recover from some stuff. So, yeah, that's my woe.
Okay.
So, yeah, just having some thoughts about Nana, her life, and what she meant to me.
What she means,
What she means to me.
My thoughts and prayers are with you. That's why it's really important to ask, how are you? We always ask people, how you doing? It's just, I'm good, how are you? But no, sometimes you have to say, no, really, how are you doing? How are you? And somebody asked me that this week, and it felt good. It feels genuine when somebody really asks that, and they really want to know, how are you? So check
Those
on
are
your
the people
check
that
on
give
your
a
loved
shit about
ones.
you.
Yeah.
Who the fuck asked you?
Well, she's one of our day one watch. What was that noise? Oh.
I'm a fucking truck driving through the house. What you think it is?
She's one of our day one watchers, so I'll give her a shout out to my boo Crystal. And she just, we always text back and forth randomly. She's one. You have some people who you text and you might not respond for a day or so, and it's a mutual respect. She got a life, a husband, kids, job, busy, so it's not a constant thing. But I learned as you get older, you have those friends who you may talk to every day, all day, you might have those friends, you check in here and there, me, I'm good, the sinner, I love you, or scripture or something that people think. You have those friends you may not talk to that often, but when you do, you don't skip a beat. So
right, she's one of them.
Yeah, it was good, just for, just to get that, how are you?
That's cool. That's cool.
But my wow, wait, did you ask me my wow? So my wow and woe was kind of wrapped up in one. Mother's Day, the wow, the beauty of it. Yeah, just the beauty of it, being able to. My mom had some things going on where she couldn't we couldn't take her out to eat, even though we still visited her, and celebrated, her, and spent some time with her. But, the plan was for me and my youngest sister to take out our middle sister, who's our baby mom. She's the kid's mom, all my nieces and nephews. And it actually turned into my youngest sister treating the both of us. And that was appreciated. I got some gifts and some flowers. I bawled my eyes out. My sister gave me a beautiful card.
So you do cry on your sister shit. You don't cry on nothing I do for you.
That's
some bullshit. You see this bullshit I got going on?
He has this thing,
She's like a stone.
Everybody who knows me knows I am super emotional, but it's at certain things.
I see her cry. Her feelings got to be hurt. I do some happy shit.
I'm not a happy crier. Like, if I'm happy, I'm smiling so hard my cheeks are hurting. Like, I'm not a happy crier. I'm a sad crier. I'm an emotional crier.
When you're happy, you won't cry.
I'm not a happy crier. I smile, I laugh, I'm elated in the moment. I'm not a happy crier.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the good things. When my cheeks is hurting because I can't stop smiling and all that. Mm-hmm. He always say I'm a stone. I don't know, it's like a gift and a curse because I'm super emotional, but it turns off when it turns off.
The heart got to be hurt.
Yeah, I'm more of an emotional crier. Yeah, but I'm very emotional. Yeah, but yeah, so that was the good part. Being able to celebrate my sister, being able to see my babies, spend time with them. They are just the funniest, the best. They're getting older. Being able to have conversations with them, and then the woe of it, was just the fact of the day being what it was. Me, having the yearning to be a mom and not. But my family, my amazing husband, I got a text from one of our life mentors, Miss Sheila. People.
You have to whisper her name.
Well, yeah, I don't.
Shouts out to Sheila.
Yeah, it felt good.
Shouts out to Larry.
And not that I was looking for an acknowledgement from anybody. I think what people don't understand is when people say, oh, to the moms and to the mother figures and to the people that act as mothers. And yeah, that's all beautiful and it's nice, but I'm not a mom. And that is the part that hurts. But I do respect the fact and I love the fact that God has given me the privilege to be able to play a part in some people's lives that I love immensely. So, that was the woe in it. But, I read something that somebody posted, and I thought it was really poignant, and it wasn't really related to me because, thank God, I haven't had to experience losing my mom, but it kind of tied into, it was basically saying, to those who have your mothers to celebrate, and this is a happy day for you, don't dumb yourself or dumb it down or dim your light because you're worried about the people who are sad. In this case, they were talking about people who lost their mothers. It was like, yeah, it hurts for us, but we celebrated our moms when they were here. Don't feel like you have to tiptoe or walk on eggshells around us or not celebrate and be elated in the way that you would. Celebrate your mom. Celebrate if you are a mom. Like, do all those things because you've earned it, you deserved it, or your mom's earned it and deserved it. And I thought that was really, I don't know the person that wrote it. Somebody reposted what somebody else wrote. And I don't know the person, but I just thought it was really poignant. And that was strong for somebody to say, like, yeah, I lost my mom and this day is horrible for me and it's sad, but y'all do y'all thing because you still have your mom. So I kind of took that, kind of transformed into my situation. Like, I love seeing, you know, mothers being celebrated the way that so many of them deserve to be. Whether it was gifts, whether it was dinners. And you know what? I want to ask your opinion, and some moms too. If you can give us some feedback, let us know how you feel, because there's two sides that I see. My sister, again, 5 kids. I think she's an amazing mom. I love being able to have a front row seat to her evolution in life and just seeing her grow. When it comes to Mother's Day, she's like, I want to be with my kids. I want to spend time with them. They ended up, they was going to go skating, but they went to Dave and Buster's. It was a fun day. And then on the other hand, you see moms who are like, no, I need a break. So I think, I don't think one is right or wrong, but it's weird to see the different dynamics. So for all the moms out there, how do you feel? Do you feel like Mother's Day is a day you want to be with your kids and celebrating since they're the reason you are a mom? Or do you feel like, take them damn kids, send me to the spa, let me have some alone time, let me woosah today. I want a me day for Mother's Day. Just interesting to know how people feel about it.
Was there a question now?
That was the question.
And what was it again? You lost me.
Do you want to be with your kids or do you want to be by yourself?
You asking me?
No, I was asking the moms to give feedback on how they feel.
So that's all. That's your wow. That was the end of your wow and your wow wrapped up together?
Yes.
Okay.
And it kind of just tied into a question. That was all.
All right.
What, I was talking too much again?
No, ask your question again.
No, that was it. Y'all got it. Leave some feedback, comments, questions.
What?
Do they want to be with their kids or do they feel like they want alone time for Mother's Day? That was all. Just an interesting to see the two different dynamics.
To go back on what you said though, that's the same thing as a person like being an alcoholic, and a person should be able to drink around them. Like, it's like, okay, this affects me this way, but go ahead and do what you do. You know what I'm saying? So
because life has to go on.
Yeah, life does go on. So if you're a mom, you should be. If you're a good mom, you should be celebrated, right? Is that the right saying? Because if you're a bad mom, should you be celebrated?
That's being a good or bad mom is subjective. Some people might feel like.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about for the people who subjectively think that they have a bad mom. Should they be celebrated? That's what I'm asking. I'm not. I know it's subjective. I'm saying on that day, should you celebrate a bad mom? In your opinion. And you don't have to be politically correct.
I'm not being politically correct. I'm just thinking that's a hard question. I don't think it's just a straightforward yes or no. I mean, in some ways you might feel like good or bad mom, I'm still grateful for you, because if you hadn't chose to be a mom, I wouldn't be here. So, you may look at it like that, or you may feel like you made my life a living hell and I don't care about Mother's Day. So it's it depends.
Okay, well, can you elaborate? Can you expand the conversation a little bit?
Well, I mean, again, it depends on those scenarios. Some children, now, if you were a mom that was like abusive to your children, or
so it's circumstantial.
It is definitely circumstantial. And again, I mean, if you were a bad mom, when your kids were younger, but you've tried to, make some reparations for that, or things may have gotten better or changed, or situations just evolved since then. Do you hold your parent accountable for what they did or didn't do when you were a kid? Or at some point, is there some forgiveness? I mean, and then being a bad mom, to what extent? Like, did you beat me and try to kill me? Did you allow me to be abused? Did you,
everything that falls under bad. So if you, let's not pick and choose. Let's just say, a good mom is a good mom, and a bad mom is a bad mom. A bad mom does all the bad things in your head that you deem as bad. A good mom does all the good things in your head that you deem as good. No,
because I don't think you can clump all the bad things together. Somebody may determine that their mom was a bad mom. Maybe they didn't encourage them in life or give them any motivation. Maybe they weren't an active participant.
Is that bad?
Yeah, it could be deemed bad.
I just was asking what
that's
your
why I
thoughts
said
was.
I mean,
you said somebody, and I
think
that.
It's
I was
bad
asking
parenting.
what you think.
I don't think it's the best parenting
But if that goes on over the course of a child's life, is it still considered bad parenting at the end of it? Or is it a bad mom? While it's going on, it will be considered bad parenting.
You weren't the best parent in that way. Now, once you're an adult, if that happened throughout your childhood, and now you're 50 years old, are you still not celebrating Mother's Day with your mom? I don't. I personally would not want to feel that way. At some point, some things you get past, you get over.
Right.
Everything happens for a reason. I'm sure through those processes, through those circumstances that you may have encountered, through the struggles that you may have had to face, there were some lessons learned in that. Now, I'm sure you probably think, damn, I would have wanted to learn those lessons in a different way, or I would have preferred to have had a better parent in my life rather than me have to go through this in order to learn this. But then you got to think about the butterfly effect, So
I think differently. I think for some kids, I think it's all circumstantial. I think for along the lines of you thinking, if it's something that you can possibly mend or chat about or move on from, and if you feel that in your heart, then you should. And if you don't, then that should also be respected too. Because the subjectiveness comes from each individual. So if one person feels like they have a good mom and wants to celebrate her to, the sky, they should be allowed to. And if a person if only they know because it's their experience. So if they feel like they have a not so good mom or a bad mom and they don't want to celebrate, then that should be respected too.
I think any decision that anybody makes should be respected. Nobody should tell. And let's just look at the real root of it. Mother's Day is one day. If you're going to celebrate your mom, or like people would say, give them their flowers while they're here, that shouldn't just be delegated to one day. So you should be demonstrating those behaviors, exhibiting that love in whatever form you choose to do it, whether it's spending time, buying them flowers, however you choose to show them that love. You shouldn't wait until Mother's Day. Now, if you ain't doing it no other time of the year, doing it on Mother's Day, how good is it really anyway? But for some parents,
it's almost like you don't have. It's almost like the people who don't do it every year, or I don't know this to be true, but people who I would assume don't do it every year, and then you don't do it on Mother's Day, that's bad. Because that's almost like the least you could do. So if you don't make the phone calls all year long, or you still have a good relationship with your mom, but on Mother's Day, you got to show up with some flowers or make a phone call. But if you don't, that's
well, you said if you have a good relationship, but I would hope that if you do have a relationship, that you would want to acknowledge them on that day. Yeah, it's a man-made holiday. I don't even know the origin of Mother's Day and why. Just like we have all of these other national this day, but Mother's Day is one of those that's been around since time immemorial.
Because people feel like it's the salt of the earth. It's how we got here. It's if it wasn't for moms, people wouldn't be born.
Exactly. So,
but then it's the chicken and the egg thing, because if it wasn't for no nut shot, no babies would be born either. So I don't know. Some people look and give the mother more of a sense and I know why. It's because of society, and the mom carries you and gives you life into this life that we live. So that's where that comes from, I think. I don't know for sure, but that's just where I think it comes from. But also, you can't deny that if there's no nut shot, there's no babies born.
Absolutely. So I don't
and
think,
if there's nowhere to house them, there's no babies born.
Yeah, I mean,
so
I don't think
you need
that
both entities.
I don't think that fathers get their just due, because you're right. Now you can choose a sperm donor and never know who the dad is, but still there is a dad that had to create this seed.
That's what I'm saying.
But so I definitely don't think it. I saw a meme where they showed for Mother's Day it was roses and candles and this big dinner, and then for Father's Day it was a hungry man TV dinner, and I don't think that's fair, but I think just like men and women in so many other realms of society, it plays to the emotions, and women are more emotional than men, but I don't think that men get their just due when it comes to Father's Day. But it, like you said, it's a societal,
It's a societal double standard that we just go along with. That's how it is in certain relationships. That's how it is in court systems. That's how it is you know, in a lot of places, mainly not in the workplace because it's male dominant, but yeah, it's like that in a
I
lot
mean,
of
and in
places,
some
but it's a double standard that, yeah, the dad just, he just there.
Yeah, I mean, and in some ways, you figure for Mother's Day, gifts and accolades, people are more demonstrative because of the flowers and the balloons. For a man, you're not gonna really do. I remember I bought you flowers one time, and you were like, "This was literally like 2002, 2003," and you were like, "Thanks, this was nice," but and they were blue. I remember I purposely bought them blue. I think it was like an iris or something, or maybe that's like purplish. And you were like, "Thanks, but don't ever bring me flowers again."
No.
And I knew it wasn't a typical thing, but I thought to myself, I still wanted to show appreciation for you. But for men, you're not gonna bring a man flowers, so it's not as visible the celebration for a man that it is for a woman. Even when a woman does show the same, it's reciprocal in gift giving or in doting on a man, her husband or her children's father. It's not as visible because again, you don't see the flowers and the balloons and the whole.
But why's it gotta be
pageantry.
fucking socks and ties? Like, why can't it be a dinner? Why can't it be a suit? You know, suits are $99 now. You get two at the Men's Warehouse. I'm just saying, why can't men get gifts like that, or why hasn't it evolved to that? Because, you know, inflationary times, people make more money. Like, your spouse got $100 to get you a suit. Like, what the
I think
hell?
it is slowly. I think society
You got to
is
get
changing
socks,
slowly.
and you got to get, like, why can't you? If you're a man who smokes cigars, why can't you get some nice cigars? If you're a man who smoke weed, why can't you get an ounce of weed?
Well, everybody don't know how or where to go buy weed, and people don't want to give them a monetary gift to say, "Here, go buy your weed." But I think as society transitions, it is becoming. We're kind of moving past that old school pop mentality where you bought pop socks or you bought pop a flashlight
And I
or you
said that,
bought.
not to cut you off, but I said that because men don't give a shit about monetary gifts. So it's something that y'all do. You can say to us, here, here's some money, go get something. We'll be like, okay, because we can get what we want. Y'all have a problem with monetary gifts because y'all think it's distasteful.
No, it just doesn't show much thought. Like
Or
like go get
thoughtless,
what you.
yeah.
Yeah, like a gift, and it shows that I thought about. I pay attention, and the same
I
advice.
know why.
Yeah.
I'm just saying men
So
aren't wired like that. Like, we don't care about that part of it. Like, if you gave us some money and said go get what you want, we would be cool with that. We wouldn't think, damn, she's not thoughtful.
first of all, you would never accept money from me if I gave you a gift that's money.
I would have to know where it came from.
Well, not only that, you would end up putting it back in my pocketbook or something. Like you, so buying a gift too is, it's different.
All right, quick question for both genders. If you're a male, God bless the males out there who had a spouse who died, a wife who died, and they're raising kids by themselves, do they get celebrated on Mother's Day?
They shouldn't. I don't like that whole single moms get celebrated on Father's Day. Single fathers.
If the kids want them, like even if the...
I mean, if the kids.
No, I'm just saying you don't think they should though.
You mean single moms or single fathers?
Both. If you're a dad who's raising two daughters and your wife passed, you don't think that you should be celebrated on Mother's Day? And if a mom, had a husband who passed and it's Father's Day, does she get celebrated on Father's Day, or does that day just go past? And
I think in those cases you maybe celebrate the memory of the parent that passed. But a mom cannot be a father. A father cannot be a mother. You can be the best parent in the world and try your best to fill those voids that were left by the other parent, whether they're deceased or they just left or they just opted out. Whatever the case is, you can try your best to fill, and you may do a good job. Like, you may learn how to do some hair. You may, do a good job, but you can't replace a mom. You can do a great job. That's all I can say. And the same for women. You can be a great job. You can a great mother. You can raise children who are amazing, but you can't replace a father.
I think different because I'm not asking if you will replace that person. Obviously, you can't do that. But it might, for me, it might be just motivation for the other parent. If you lost somebody and you're doing a good job, like you said, for your kids to celebrate you and say that to you. Obviously, you can't be mom, she's gone. You can't be dad, he's gone. But maybe it's just motivation for you to be like, damn, I'm doing it right. I'm doing a good job. Let me keep going.
I mean,
So,
if the kids wanted to do that, that's awesome. I don't think it should be expected, or it should be a big thing. Like like on Father's Day, women will be like, Happy Father's Day to me because I played both parts. Or yeah, that kind of thing.
That's a little narcissistic.
And I get where it's coming from because there's so many single women as parents, but I just don't.
A person that had lost a husband and you knew she was busting her ass, raising boys, and, trying to do everything that she could, it wouldn't hurt for Father's Day to be like, Happy Father's Day. Even if she didn't want to acknowledge it, but it wouldn't be something you would lead with because
you're not a father.
Right.
My sister, I love her to death. Single mom of 5. Out here killing it, doing her very best that she can. We don't celebrate her on Father's Day. She's not their father.
But they have fathers around, is all I'm saying. I'm talking about a deceased dad. They have dads that just, they're around. I don't want to say nothing bad about them. They're just around.
Yeah. Next.
All right. That's the end of Mother's Day, Father's Day. Jesus, Jesus Christ. We had some questions by a few people came in today.
Yeah.
So we're going to get to those. Appreciate y'all with the questions, comments, the shares, the likes. We really find it fun when y'all engage and that we can kind of get a sense of what the audience is thinking or want to talk about or want to ask us because, we complex people. We just fucking like that.
And it's fun to give our perspective on things that may not necessarily be applicable to... Is it applicable or applicable? Because you always...
Applicable.
Things that may not be applicable to our lives per se.
But it's some water, because it's easier to say that with some water.
That may not be applicable to our lives, but giving our perspective, it challenges us to think in different ways. So we enjoy it.
Yep.
We like it.
It's fun. Yeah, it's fun to talk to y'all. And it's because, that's one of the reasons why we say if you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you should. Because you really should. Like, we decent people. So, the first question was, we can't say who these are from, right? No, we're not going to say who these are from. We're going to keep it going. Does a woman with multiple baby fathers make her not wife material? You can go first.
So my just off the top, my answer would be no, that does not exclude her from being wife material. And I said, okay, let me.
I'm just trying to see where this is going because number one, only in today's society can you make a wife for you, and how can you know the perspective in making a wife from a male perspective if you're not a male?
Didn't you say I go first? You told me to answer it. I'm giving my permission.
I was an alley-oop. I thought you was going to say, I can't answer this because I'm not a male. I can't make a wife.
Well, I can give my opinion, though.
You can.
And I actually was going to, I don't want to necessarily say condemn myself, but I will say this may be a little hypocritical for me.
And a little biased.
Well, bias from a personal standpoint because I know people that I love dearly who have children by multiple men. I can think of 2 off the top of my head who are awesome wives. And I'm not talking about like they're wives and they've been wives for a long period of time, like 10 plus years. So I don't think it necessarily excludes you from becoming a wife because it's one of those things where, and this is in no way saying that somebody looks as their child as a mistake, but you may have made mistakes in your behaviors that resulted in you having children by who you have children from. So that's like saying, okay, if you had a child by somebody at 17, somebody at 19, somebody at 25, whatever the dynamics were around those situations that happened. Does that mean because of the mistakes made at those earlier stages in your life, at 40 now you're omitted from the wife category?
For certain people, yes. That's just a hard chip that you may not want to swallow. And it doesn't
I wasn't finished though. One thing that I will say.
Go ahead.
I am being a little hypocritical. I don't want to say hypocritical, but maybe a little hypocritical, and it is a double standard, because for me as a woman, if I was single, meeting a man with multiple baby mothers, I would be skeptical. But so I think in both cases it's circumstantial, and it requires a lot of discussion and getting to know that person. Like, okay, how did you, whether it's a man or a woman, how did you find yourself in this situation? Like, that's something that needs to be talked about, not just, oh, I got, 3 baby daddies, or I got 4 baby moms. Like, how, and your responses and how you move in life now would kind of determine for me if it was like, okay, like, I can see this person made whatever mistakes they made or did whatever they did, but they are no longer that person, or they've grown from it, they've evolved from it. So that's why I say I don't think it immediately excludes you or omits you from being a wife or from being a husband. It's a red flag, but it's just like, okay, you go apply for a job and you got a felony on your record. I don't think that should immediately exclude you from jobs. Some jobs will
the same
no,
thing.
it is, because
It's
some
not.
Jobs will automatically say if you have a felony, you can't.
Disagree.
You need to. There's some discussions that can be had that could be like, okay.
From a male perspective, most men, you're not even going to get that far. And that's the double standard, and that's what you fail to realize. Most men aren't going to get that far to get to the conversation, to see that you have evolved from this person, or you're not the person who you used to be. Because men, from the outside looking in, it's fucked up, because it shouldn't be that way for every woman, because it is circumstantial. Some women do evolve. Some women do they change their lives. They're not promiscuous anymore. And sometimes you make mistakes in life that you can't necessarily change.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to, you live with those. You can't necessarily change. So for men, and I'm speaking for men, like when we see a woman that has 7 kids by 6 different dudes, that's an immediate problem. An immediate problem. There's no thinking of, oh, I want to get to know her. Right off the bat, we think a certain way because you have 6 baby daddies and 7 kids, and some dude knock twins out your ass. Like, that's how men are wired to think. So there's very few men out there who will think, she might be a nice lady. Like, let me go get to know her.
Why did your voice have to change?
Because that's just not how men think at all. So I'm not finished. That's not how men think at all. So if a man sees a woman that has 7 kids by 6 baby fathers, yes, that is more than a red flag for a man. Do I think it should be that way? No, because yes, things are circumstantial. If you got to know people, if you got to like you have to be at such a high level for a man to see past that. You have to be at a high level for a man to see past you having 7 kids with 6 baby daddies.
Okay, so let's be real. Is there a number, like we kind of talked about a number in terms of previous sexual, well, we didn't solidify a number, I don't think, but we talked about whether or not an actual number matters when we talked about past sexual history. So in this case, if we're speaking specifics, is there a number that's like the what's the word, the limit?
Most men would rather have a woman that had no kids. That's off the rip. Most men. But you're not going to get that in most cases.
Most cases, right.
So to lean into that, men, if you have 3 kids by the same guy, that's one thing. But if you have 6 kids by 7 guys, or 7 kids by 8 guys, 8 kids by 7 guys, that's a sign that, like, you're like, what are you doing? What exactly
You're
are you
going
doing?
like to, I don't want to say the extreme because that is some people's situation, but is 2 baby daddies too much, or is 5 baby daddies too much?
Two baby daddies is too much, but that's something
really?
that can be dealt with. When you
Okay.
start, the numbers start to go up, it's not even an option. Like if you meet a girl and she got 2 kids and both of and the daddies are different, you're like, damn, I wish that wasn't the case, but I fuck with her, I like her, you'll try to get past that. But if you meet a girl and she has 6 kids,
No, let's not jumping. So
okay,
3 kids and 3 baby daddies.
that's a problem.
Okay.
That's a problem.
So 3 is like the problem.
Any more than 1 is a problem. It's just some of it can be worked out. When you start to get to the higher numbers, it can't be. So because you won't even look that far.
So let me just ask this, and I know you can't answer.
Do we walk around with a number in our head that's saying if the girl has this many baby daddies, she's off limits? No. But the higher the number, the worse off
I hear you. So,
and on top of that, just to go into another thing, we learned that 1 in 4 women in our culture even taste marriage. So a lot of women in our culture have kids.
When you say our culture, black women.
Yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of women have kids. So you just think every 4th woman is getting married. And
don't mean they stand married, so but just getting married.
Yeah, but I mean, if you just looked at the circle you're in, does that mean like you were the one that's picked and you can name 3 people that's close to you that's not going to get married? Or does it shuffle a little bit? Like, because that's the statistics.
Right.
So
let me ask this, and I know that you can't answer this because you don't know these women and you just can't answer. But I just want to know from a man's perspective, what is your opinion of the women who end up being baby mom number 5, 6, 7 of a man? What do you think is the mentality of those women? Because let's say you're a man out here and you done been you've been careless in your sperm donations that you've been dropping off, and you got 5 baby moms. Do you expect somebody to ever come along and take you serious?
2 things when you catch a girl and she's the 5th baby mom, either 2 things. She's a thought and you just banging her and you got her pregnant, or she didn't know about the other 4 kids until she got pregnant. Then the shit came out that you got 4 other kids and 4 other baby moms.
So a man who has 5 baby moms, does he just tell himself, I'm not worth getting married, like nobody's gonna want me, I got all...
No, because we're not wired that way. We're it's a double standard. It's like, how society thinks. The more women that men conquer, it's like you're more of a man. You're not looked at like a hoe or a promiscuous man. But the more men a woman conquers, your status goes down in this society.
So do you feel like a man who has 3+ baby moms?
I think that's trifling too.
But do you think he's still potentially husband quality?
That I think the higher the number, the same thing. I don't think you should look at. I mean, there's a lot of men out here, and I don't think you should be. I wouldn't invest my time. You can answer this better. If you're a female, I wouldn't invest my time with a man with 4 kids by 4 different baby moms. And now you're this woman, and then he's involved, and he wants to meet you, and he's got 4 kids and 4 different baby moms. I think that's a bit much. But again, it doesn't necessarily work that way. I'm saying that based off me knowing you, and I just know how you think. I don't think you would be interested in something like that. Yeah,
and you know what? One of the things that, and I think we talked about this, or I said maybe we talked about it in our real life. Well, this is our real life, but not. Or maybe we talked about it off camera. I've learned to stop saying I would never do something, because life teaches you that you may have to eat those words one day. So you're absolutely right. In my mind, sitting here thinking, if I was single and I met a man and he had 3, 4 baby moms, I probably would not give him the time of day. But you think about scenarios and circumstances. Let's say I'm a 50-year-old woman. I meet a man, he 52. Let's see, 52, and if he started having kids, let's just say at 20, he got 32. He got 4 kids. That's 32 to 40.
But you're changing the narrative a little bit.
But listen, no. Listen, I'm meeting a man, And he's single, I'm single. He got 4 kids between 32 and 40 years old. They got 4 baby moms. He's a 52-year-old man. You know, I said 32 to 40. You know what I mean. He got all these kids, all these baby moms. He 50 plus. You know, let's say he has a great career. You know, whatever the situation is, he's doing well in life. I'm doing well in life. We meet each other. His kids are grown. It's not like I got 2 kids. They both 8 months because I mess with both. You know what I mean? It's not that type of situation. Can I say for myself that this grown man that got kids that's in their 30s, you know, and he got 4 baby moms that he had 30 years ago, that I wouldn't necessarily give him the time of day?
You wouldn't say that then because, again, I think you're moving the goalposts because you want it in those years. It's almost your golden years. You want different things, and sometimes you just want to be settled down. You want a companion, and you're supposed to be because they believe in, okay, I'm not going to have sex with you unless we're married. That's all that's about when you old.
Some people want to transition into the sunset with a spouse.
They do, but I'm saying when you old and 60 and getting married, that's about leaving your person something legally, and that's about goddamn.
I won't disagree with that. You think about life insurance and that type of stuff.
Yeah, that's what that's about.
Okay.
But you're in those years, you're supposed to be past that. So people look at that different. Like, you had your life, and you had your wife may have passed already, and you got 4 kids, and your youngest is 30. Like, yeah, there's shit like that where a Steve Harvey and Marjorie situation where the kids are older. We both have multiple kids, but we're both doing okay. We can combine and kind of like our kids are almost grown. Mm-hmm. So it's not like we're raising kids together. Yeah, they're around. They may need us for some stuff, but they're on their fucking own.
So again, it's circumstantial. So a woman, you know, who has multiple children's fathers meets a man, it doesn't necessarily disqualify her from being a wife, but it's just the circumstances.
Yeah, and men will think the age of kids matters. Because if I meet you and you have 5 kids, you 50 years old and your youngest is 30, okay, your kids, their fathers, like, that's a thing men think about. That's not something that I'm gonna have to deal with or you deal with. When you got kids that's 2 and 3 and 10 and 13, you automatically think these dudes are still around. Like, they're still involved in their lives. There's a lot of drama that comes with 4 and 5 baby daddies.
Not only that, you know, one of the things
especially one of them niggas crazy. It's like, you think I'm serious. Nowadays, you know I'm right. Like, motherfucker kill you. You don't know what. Like, one of your baby moms could be a fucking loco crazy motherfucker. So yeah, I ain't trying to mess with a dude, a girl who got 5 and 6 baby daddies.
You know, though, another thing that I think that it's I don't want to say it's unfair, but it's realistic when you think about men or women that have multiple children, that have children, period, but it becomes even a bigger issue when you have multiple children. Take away the baby fathers, like, or baby moms, and the number that there is. I think what really, for me, what would stand out, the financial burden that brings.
Yes.
And I think sometimes that's what women, they think to themselves, no matter how well you're doing, if you got 6 kids by 5 men, if you got 2 kids by 2 men, and this man coming into your life, if he is really going to be the man of the household, even if those children have fathers that provide for them and take care of them, in that household, there's an expectation that he's going to be the provider. And I can just imagine putting myself in the shoes of a man, that being a scary situation, because it's like, okay, I'm ready to take on a wife and be the provider, and you know, I want to love this girl, and if she got 1 kid, okay, maybe I might have one on the side, not on the side, but you know, maybe I might have one also. But to take on this woman with multiple children, excluding the fact that it's multiple baby fathers, but that's
multiple kids. And when a man walks into any relationship, there's an expectation. From a single woman, you want to be the provider, you want to be the security, you want to be the protector, you want to be her lover, like all them things. There's an expectation that you have to rise to. Hopefully a standard that she makes you rise to. When she has kids, it raises the standard, it puts the pressure on, And for a man, it's like, why would I walk into that situation? If their dads are there, great, but I'm still going to have to be in their lives. I'm still going to have to be a part of their lives. I might not even like one of these motherfuckers. And you know what I mean? You got 5 of them. It's like, okay, I don't like the third one. And that's just the way it is. The other one's cool, but me and the third one don't get along. So it's an expectation when you're in the household to be a part of their lives, and you might not just be ready to deal with all that. You might just be like,
do you think it's unrealistic? I know a girl, she's married, and probably for about 5 or so years. She had a child, but and we're like the same age, so she got married around like 35, 36. She did not want a man that had kids. And I think some people probably think, oh, that's unrealistic, impossible. But she found, she has a husband. They now, actually, I'm sorry, she had a child by him before they got married, but in meeting him, she was like, I didn't want a man with kids. Like, people might think that's selfish, but I knew what I wanted as a woman.
It's not,
and I didn't want a man that had to divide his time, or I didn't want to have to deal with baby mama drama. And she has a husband. They have a daughter, you know, both of her children. Well, one is his and one is grown, but
look,
they are married.
There are no selfless acts. So of course it's selfish. You're an individual. It's what you want. So you're allowed to say, you narrow your pool and by doing that, but you're allowed to sit and wait and say, I want a man with no kids. Just like a man can say, I want a woman with no kids. Like it's the same thing. You're allowed to do that. That's cool.
I think, and I know we're ending this question, I think your character will show through your circumstances. If you are a woman that has multiple children's fathers, I think you do have to accept the fact that some men, just the optics of it, some men will be hesitant about becoming involved in that situation, because just from the outside looking in, it will appear to be too much of a load that they are, will, before they even know how many dads, it may appear to be more of a load than they are willing to take on. And then
More
adding the baby
expectation.
father factors in it, it can really change the dynamics. But don't give up hope.
It's
on
an
love.
expectation that a man is not willing to rise to because he doesn't know you. If he knew you and knew you're smart, you're intelligent, you can hold a conversation, you can do life with him, then he'll raise to that. But right off the rip, when you see the optics of that, yeah, it's tough for a man, and that's fucked up that it's like that. But that's just the truth. A man will see that, and it's not like those women will never. And it's weird because I feel like the man who does approach you, is the one, because that expectation that he sees, he doesn't care about that. He sees the relationship you got with your kids. He sees how you move with your kids, and he still approached you because he sees your dynamic and he's not afraid of it. So, you know, you gotta just look out for that. All women out there who got kids and a whole bunch of baby fathers, just look out for that. Like, some of the men who approach you, yeah, they might be assholes and dickheads, and you gotta weed those guys out who just want sex. But for the most part, men will see those optics and approach you, and it's like he's not afraid of what he sees over here.
And remember what the Bible says: he that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So he will find you.
Yeah. That was an awesome question too.
It was.
Good conversation. Second question was, do you believe everybody has a purpose? I do. I don't think everybody aligns with their purpose, but I do think everybody is born with a purpose. But everybody doesn't align with their purpose, and then they make horrible decisions, bad decisions in their lives. Ted Bundy, I don't think he was born to be a serial killer to kill 44 women. I just think he wasn't aligned with his purpose in life, and he ended up doing that. You know, that's what I think. I think people that murder and rape kids and touch kids, those people are sick. But I don't think they were born to do that. I think they just not aligned with their purpose in life, mental issues, and they made horrible, horrible choices. But that's not what they were put here to do.
I think that's one of the things that and I don't know if this is an age thing. You know, you kind of mentioned before, as you get older, you kind of become more in touch with your mortality, or more aware and especially when you start hearing of people dying and stuff. So that has been something that I have been it's been kind of running through my head every now and then, just trying to think, what is my purpose? Like, we do a lot of things in life, but for me, and for those who have been watching, y'all know my relationship with God. I always try to like question myself, like, is this what God wants me to do? Is this what his
purpose though? What is purpose to you?
Purpose is the meaning or the statement, the impact that you make in the world.
That's not the definition of the word, though. The definition of the word is, and we can check this, but I think it's something that you do every day with passion. It's not work.
But when we think of what is your purpose, meaning a singular, I think I look at that as like, what is your singular thing that God, what was your assignment in life? That's kind of what I think of it like. What was your assignment here on this earth? And sometimes for me, I think to myself, some people die without ever knowing, and they may have fulfilled it because maybe their assignment was it was something for somebody else to learn, something for somebody else to grasp from them, and they may have unknowingly fulfilled their assignment. But that isn't it. Do you think that's a little scary to think like you don't even know? I mean, in the end, my goal is to please God with my life. And sometimes I think that it's a little scary to think, am I doing it? Is this what you have for me? Like, I know my job ain't my purpose. I do it and I'm good at it and I get paid, but I know that ain't my purpose.
I don't look at it as
And I'm sorry, and the only reason why I say job is because some people have jobs that may be, whether you're a teacher, social worker.
Right, but I'm saying that's where I don't look at it along those lines of you. I think we have two different meanings of purpose. I think living my life through God is just something that I do. It's just something that I want to do. And a purpose for me is something that you grasp on, that you're passionate about. Most of the time, it should be in some lines of service to other people. So whether you got your nieces and nephews, or whether you try to reach people on a podcast, like whatever, whether you play basketball, whether the things that you grasp, you grasp to, that you're passionate about, that you want to do even when you're sick, even when you hurt, like, and not your job. And for some people it can be their job, because you can turn something like this into a job and be very passionate about it. So you can turn music into a job and be very passionate about it.
You could be a social worker,
social worker, because you could like helping kids. So most of us, I think, like, I don't think it's a purpose like God has put in us. I think that you get your purpose through the service of other people. That's what I think. Helping people out is where you get your purpose at. But everybody doesn't align with that. And I'm not saying everybody's purpose is to give money to somebody or give time to somebody. It could be words. It could be anything. And like you said, you could not be knowing that you're fulfilling your purpose, but you're passionate about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that you want to do. And even when you're sick, even when you're down, you still find energy and time to do this thing, because that's your passion. So for me, that's purpose.
I agree with
Everybody ain't going to cure cancer. Everybody not going to fly planes.
Right.
Everybody not going to work for NASA. So you have to find, like, sometimes your purpose isn't changing the earth. Sometimes your purpose is small. But if you get it and fulfill it, then you whole. So
that's dope.
Yeah.
I like that. That's good. Give us some feedback. What do you guys think about fulfilling your purpose, and what do you view as a purpose in life? I kind of chuckled a little bit because you said something you're passionate about, and it made me think about, like, what about the dude that's like 39, he's still rapping and stuff because he's passionate about it. He like, I'm gonna make it one day.
I know a guy like that.
I'm gonna make it one day.
I got a youngin' like that, and he passionate about his shit, and I support him. If he was 55, I would chuckle at it, but I was still gonna say, like,
but you better be honest with him and say,
yeah, I mean, yeah, of course I'd make jokes like, fuck you doing.
Yeah.
I would support it. I would think, damn, you got the heart to do that. Our third question was, how important, this could be let's try to be concise with this. How important is your potential spouse's familial relationship?
I'll let you go first in answering that.
It's weird for me because I'm not that close with my family, so I don't have a familial bond as certain. It's circumstantial for me. So if I met a woman who wasn't close with her dad or close with her mom or close with her brother or her sister, it wouldn't be necessarily a red flag to me because again, I don't live in the bubble of just because we're brothers, we are so close. Like I think life and experiences make that happen. So I don't my life just doesn't work that way. It doesn't work like, okay, just because we're family, we work together. I mean, we vibe together. Like there has to be a vibe as you get older and grown. So yeah, I don't think I wouldn't be red flags to me if I was like, damn, you talk to your sister once or twice a year. I wouldn't be like, damn, why don't you talk to her every week? Damn, why don't you talk to your sister every day? Why y'all not close? Like, I wouldn't go into that kind of shit. It would just be like, okay, they just not close. Like, maybe they hated each other growing up. Like, all sisters, all brothers don't get along when they grow up together. Like, I've seen it on TV. I've known some people like that. I've known some people who tried to kill their brother. I've known some people who stabbed their sister. Like, shit happens. And, I mean, obviously in your world that could never ever happen in your bubble, but yeah, y'all are different. Y'all are an anomaly. But some sisters and brothers grow up and they don't vibe, like they don't like each other.
I think for me it has my opinion on that has evolved over the years. And I know you said
Hold on, and I'm not finished. Now, if I met a woman and she had a kid that she just didn't fuck with, I wouldn't take too kindly to that. Even if I didn't have a kid, I wouldn't take too kindly to, damn, you just popped a baby out, you left it with that nigga, and you just was like, fuck it. Like, there's no reason why you going. Like, you just like, fuck him. Yeah, that would be a red flag to me. So that kind of familial bond would be like, damn, why you just leave your kid out there?
yeah.
But brother, sister, father, or your mom and your siblings, I wouldn't trip over that.
See, for me, it differs. Like, I remember, I think at this age, if I was like dating somebody, there are different questions that I would ask or different things that I would want to know than I did 20 years ago. Like, I would, and I'm not saying that it would be a deal breaker, but I would need to know the psyche behind it, like the dynamics of it, because and this is probably biased because I can only go based on my own experience. Like, I know the love that I have for my siblings. So for somebody to just be like, nah, like I just don't mess with them like that. Like, why? I just would want to know more about that person, the root of their feelings, and I think again at this age, it's so important to understand parental relationship or a person's parental relationship, because it just gives you some, again, not necessarily a deal breaker one way or the other, but it gives you some insight into their psyche, exactly, like to know if what you're about to get into.
Or they fucking shattered, or they got two cracks in them.
They got pieces missing that you're never gonna be able to put back together.
That they lost along the way that they ain't gonna ever get back.
Yeah, so I think that's one of the things that people don't even, I mean, I can't speak for everybody. When you meet somebody 18, 19, 20, maybe even 25, you may not even think about it, but at this age and knowing the importance of childhood trauma and how that manifests itself in people's lives as an adult, I don't think it's a deal breaker. What was the question again? How important
is your potential spouse's familial relationship?
Yeah, so I don't think it's important. It's not a deal breaker important, but it's important to at least know, because then if you have children by this person, you want to know some stuff like about.
Because it's two different dynamics. If you meet a man who was beaten by his father, or you meet a man whose father was in prison for 20 years and he was gone. That's two different dynamics. That could be two different broken men in two fucked up different places.
Or you meet a man who was abandoned by his mother and the mommy issues that he'll have, the possessiveness that he may have, or, or a man who was, I don't want to say overloved, because that
you can be overloved. You can be coddled and fucking pampered.
Exactly, by a mom. Then you got to think about how that's going to
he needs lots of coddling and taking care of.
Yeah, how that's going to transpire in your relationship. So I think it's important. Like I feel like if I was like in the dating scene, by third date, let's have dinner with your family. Like, let's get this out the way early. We're going to sit down and I'm just going to observe. I ain't trying to marry you yet, but I would want to observe, because that's another thing. I think sometimes people invest so much time into relationships before they get to find it. It's hard. You've been, messing with this person for 6-9 months and you really feeling them, and then you found out it's some crazy issues going on.
Everybody's individuals and everybody carries shit, and I just feel like you can't protect yourself from that. Like everybody, you can, but again, you narrowing your pool and you just waiting around. But if you want to get out there, like you're gonna have to go through some people, I guess. And it's like like, okay, if you meet somebody and they don't like their moms, or they don't like their dad, or they grew up with their brother and was fighting them, and like they just not close together like that, like that shouldn't be a indication. Or if they interact with their brothers, or you go eat dinner and they interact with their family and you like, I don't like this because it ain't what you know. Like, damn, that's not necessarily an indication of who they are. Because that could just be how they act in that setting because it's their family. But when they leave that setting, people are individuals. Everybody carries shit, and you just got to work on and work with the person that you're with and try to get through shit. Try to help each other. But to stand back and be like, okay, I don't want nobody who, like it's some women out there who say, I don't want nobody, a man who don't treat his mom right. Like, that's not an indication of who a man is. In certain situations, you can make that an indication, but it's not necessarily always the truth, or a woman or how she treats her father. Like, that's not always the truth. That could just be a circumstance, and that individual can still be a good person.
100%. I don't think it makes them a good or bad person, but it definitely it is indicative of something about them. Not necessarily something wrong or something bad about them, but it's definitely indicative of something that, I would want to ask some questions like, okay, are you going to therapy about this? Because what you have to know what you're getting yourself, and this says potential spouse, so you have to know what you're getting yourself into. We always say far too often people have become so complacent with the label of dysfunctional family. Mm-hmm. So many families live in cohabitate and commingle in dysfunction, and it's this another societal norm that we just deal with. Oh, my family's dysfunctional. But we don't have to accept that all families are dysfunctional. There are some things that you may not be able to control. So that's why I feel like at this age, I would want to limit my pool if I was dating. And I would want to tread lightly as to what I gave my energy and my time to before proceeding in a relationship. And I would want to like kind of weed out some of that stuff. And again, not saying every man with a bad relationship with his mom, or every woman with a bad relationship with her mom, or the same with fathers. But that is indicative, because we know childhood issues and traumas, they, evolve into other issues in adulthood. So it wouldn't be a deal breaker, but I would not accept it as something that was just brushed over. Like, I just don't F with my mom like that. Like, we gotta peel the onion back. It's gotta be a conversation
about it. It's gotta be a conversation about it. It can't just be, you can't just not have a reason for your actions. So There's got to be a reason behind it. But I don't think it's indicative of that person, because again, they could not be that. They could just have that relationship with that person and they could still be a good person. Like, Is it something you should peel the onion back to? Yeah, but like you said, it shouldn't be a deal breaker. And at this age, I would want an explanation on why
Yeah.
you don't talk to your dad, or if you was a girl, like, okay, I just want to know why. I ain't gonna beat you up about it. I'm not gonna leave you alone about it. But what's the reason? And you say like, okay, he touched me or he was abusive. That's not a deal breaker either. But
that's also some emotional stuff that you need to be
but
aware of
you might have
to
got
uncover.
over it. It might not need to be uncovered. You might have gotten over that.
But
And
I
I'm just bringing it up, asking a question. You might be healed and went to therapy and totally healed from that. And I'm just opening that door because you're new to me.
Right.
So I'm asking you a question that you resolved 8 years ago. But
Or-
you're just letting me know, yeah, this is why I don't fuck with my pops.
Right.
So I shouldn't think just because you told me that, oh my God, you fucked up.
No,
we
I'm
need
not
to talk,
saying
or
that.
we would.
But it's definitely, those are the things, those are the reasons why I think questions need to be asked, when it comes to familial relationships. So again, I think it's important, not always a deal breaker, but definitely conversations that need to be had early on.
All right.
This is the last question?
Yes. If you were single, what would be the most challenging thing about dating you? It's dead air here. You can't have
I
it.
know, right? That was a good one. If you were, I'll let you go first.
If I was single, the most challenging thing about dating me would be that I know what I want. That I have a pretty high standard.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't compromise like at this age.
You took my answer.
So yeah, I have a pretty high standard. I wouldn't compromise at this age under no circumstances. I want what I want. And that's not that's no negotiation. There's no gray area there. It's pretty black and white being 43. Black man, if I was out here, like I know you think I'd be knocking them down, but I'd be chilling.
I know that you wouldn't because you are a relationship person.
I'd be chilling. But I definitely am a relationship person, but I would know what I want. I wouldn't be knocking them down, and I would have a standard, and I would try to narrow my pool and weed out these thoughts and chicken heads and girls that get butts to go to call centers and all kinds of shit. Like, I would weed them chicks out. Like,
yeah, I would say
I would
the same
want
thing.
grown women. I would want, if I was 43 now and dating, I wouldn't date anybody under 40.
Yeah.
If I wouldn't even date a woman that's 35. I wouldn't date anybody under 40.
Me being 40, if I was out here dating, I think I would date 50 and up. That's like, 50 and
Pop.
Yeah, pop, 50 and up. And I think it's the same. Like, I think, well, if we're speaking hypothetically, like, it would be after you. So I think the bar has been set. So my level of expectation, it would just be what it is. So I think that would be the hardest thing in meeting that level of expectation. What you looking at? Meeting that level of expectation for me. And also I think because I think I'm such a fun person, but I'm kind of zero tolerance also, where like the things that we've talked about, like I wouldn't allow too much time to be wasted if I knew like any red flags would be like next, because we ain't getting no younger. So
this when your pop get you pregnant. Y'all can see this. This is when your pop get you pregnant and you're 50 years old.
That is horrible. Was that somebody's real child?
I doubt it.
Oh. Well, yeah, that would be for me. Like, I would just have zero tolerance, and those hard questions. I think that I would probably ask the hard questions earlier than somebody would want, to narrow the dating pool, to weed out the whack. Like, it's nothing wrong.
If you dating 50-year-olds, your pool gonna be narrow.
Oh,
because you're gonna have some like old heads in there. Like,
sir, you're not far from 50.
I'm 43, but I'm talking about like we going to like early, like get the special at 4:00. We're going to be in the bed by 7:30.
AARP discount.
Yeah, like that's old.
I wouldn't have no time.
You know what? 50 the new 40, so it ain't. They still say that?
I don't know.
50 the new 40, 40
No
the
cap.
new 30.
I always wanted to use that.
Didn't even go.
It didn't fit right there. I'm just saying, I would date 50-year-olds. No cat.
Okay. Would that mean like with no hats? 50-year-olds got Kangos.
Always trying to play me.
That was good. Those questions was good.
Yeah, this was great conversation.
Act 2, the podcast, episode 18, International Walk.
Your girl Tosh.
Chilling. Appreciate the likes. Appreciate the questions. They was good. They bred a lot of good conversation. This is why we like the back and forth. We love the engagement. So keep it coming. Keep it going. We appreciate y'all out there. Episode 18. I keep saying that because we 2 away from 20. It's going to be big for us. End of the year, we're going to be in the 50s. And y'all might see us on some other platforms.
Keep the engagement going. Keep the questions. Every Tuesday, we post the opportunity to ask questions. Doesn't mean we may not still put some survey questions up too, but we'll keep you guessing. But the questions are always welcome. Guess what? If it comes to Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a question pop in your head, and you want to send it because you might forget come Tuesday,
just put it up.
Go ahead and send it.
Yeah, just
Don't forget, you can also leave comments and feedback on YouTube as well. We like to see the engagement there. So whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on Instagram, we appreciate all of the feedback. Don't be afraid to share. Tell your friends about us. Let them know we here.
Yeah, and we got some good topics coming up too that I got cooking in the pot. So
Stir it up.
We got good topics coming. 2 away from episode 20. To milestone. So we got a lot more to do, a lot more to go, but it's definitely a milestone. The baby crawling now.
Where did that metaphor come from? The baby crawling?
Yeah, baby was born, then the baby crawling, then the baby walk, then the baby run.
And we gonna stir it up.
You don't stir the baby.
No, you said you had stuff cooking
in the pot.
Yeah, I'm stirring it.
All right, Act 2, episode 18. Yo over here stirring the pot.
Stir it up.
If you fuck with us, you fuck with us. If you don't, you fucking should. Peace. You a retard.
Stir it up.